All right, history and politics. Um, as much as I would like to say I don't understand this, I do. Uh, it's hard to watch American society it's hard to watch the larger portion of our population, particularly the white population, that has this almost bipolar relationship with reality. How the majority of our white community can only see racism at certain times. They don't want to hear about slavery. They don't want to hear about Jim Crow. They don't want to hear about wage gaps. They don't want to hear about different policing. They don't want to hear about education oppression. They don't want to hear about employment oppression. They don't want to hear about any of these things. And every time black comes up, oh my God, here we go. The black card, the victim card, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, keep that energy. If that's who you are and how you are. Thank you for the light. But you see reverse racism in so reverse racism means somebody had to do it first. It means it's being reversed, which means we are the primary people that do it. Now let's understand something about racism. Racism is an economic method. It's to protect resources. Keep other people out, protect resources. That's what it's for. So when Native Americans or black people or Latinos suffer from racism, it shows up in their life. It shows up in their education. It shows up in their safety. It shows up in how they're policed. It shows up in their education. It shows up in how they can get a loan. It shows up if they can get a job. It shows up if they can get into a union. It shows in all of the how they provide wealth for their family, how they pass on wealth to their family, how they're taxed. We know about redlining. We know about all these things. Racism doesn't show up in white people's lives that way. Two things. There's two ways that racism shows up in white people's lives. One, fear. But if you didn't do jive, you wouldn't be expecting somebody to do something to you. And historically, folks don't do stuff to white people because there's a greater punishment for a minority to do something to a white person. That's number one. Number two is hurt feelings. My feelings are hurt because you don't like me. I don't understand why you don't like me. You all know the 100 years of lynching was after slavery. Then you had the war on drugs where they locked all the black folks up and made them work for free. But now, you have Elon Musk getting on the television, worldwide internet, saying they won't let Tesla in South Africa because I'm not black. And ain't no white people calling him a victim. No white people are saying, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Where is that energy that the majority? I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm not talking about Green Party. I'm talking about American white populace. Where is that energy? Where is that pull yourself up by your bootstraps energy that you have when it's black folks talking about systematic laws, economic systems, housing systems, education systems, employment systems, political systems that have been in place. Read the Kerner report if you don't believe it. I didn't write it. Read the Kerner report. LBJ had that done in 1967. This is not new. You didn't need CRT to explain that to me. So where is that energy when the president of the United States, the person who stole every inch of land, either from Mexico or Native Americans or indigenous Africans that they called Indians, that they stole this entire continent, and that president in 2025 is saying something is wrong with what's happening in South Africa because those South Africans are kicking behind and taking their land back? I haven't heard a Jewish person yet. Now, they were all over Harvard, only when Harvard got a black president. All over Harvard University because they were anti-Semitic. They don't support Israel. We took our homeland back. Now, people, we all know about the Berlin Conference, where the European nations cut up Africa and stole all its resources. Now Africa is kicking some behind and getting rid of the colonizers, and if the colonizers won't go. But now that's racism. The same MAGA folk. How is MAGA people worried about African people? Since when? And why are you worried about particular MAGA people? It's some MAGA idiot. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call the man an idiot. I'm sure he means well. Now white people want to quote Nelson Mandela? You didn't support Nelson Mandela. Notice how American whites are quick to quote black revolutionaries after they dead when they're no longer a problem for them. 2, generally if they the ones that killed them. 3, they will only say half of what they say. Frederick Douglass said Lincoln was a black man's president. That's not all of what he said. It's even divided by a comma. It wasn't even 2 different sentences. He said compared to everybody else that were facile versions of slavery, he was the black man's president. That's what he said. But, black man's president. So they're going to jump on, do like Frederick Douglass endorses them now. They'll say color of the skin, content of the character. This is the same government that shot the man in the neck and blew his jaw out. They don't want to talk about that. Same government that did that. Man been under 24-hour surveillance by the CIA and FBI. He gets shot and killed. Can't nobody stop it or catch the person when they did it. Okay. But they don't say anything about his war on poverty. He don't say anything. They don't quote that my dream turned into a nightmare, and that I have found that the white support that we have gotten is disingenuous. It's to a limit. They don't quote that. So now they're going to quote Mandela coming out of prison, and he comes out. Why did he go in? You're talking about how great of a person was when he came out of prison. Who put him in prison? The children of them folks that's getting their behinds whipped over there. But where are my non-racist Jewish brothers and sisters? Now y'all over there right now fighting multiple Muslim countries to stand on your land. But they doing it in Africa. Y'all ain't got nothing to say. Really? And the president of this country that committed genocide for this land, committed rape for this land, committed pedophilia, lied, stole, the country you represent, that you're going to say something specifically about white Africans. And the leader from the African country, because unfortunately our president doesn't understand that Africa is not a country, Africa is a continent with a bunch of countries on it. The president asked him, he said, you know, it's violent crime that don't deal with white people. What's the problem? Why is it you're just worried about those situations? And he's sitting there with all of these news articles about all of this crime that's happening to white South Africans. Okay, what about the other Africans? Why do you care about those? And all of this is going on in our time. And American white people are looking shocked and shaken when black folks say, that's how all y'all feel. That's our country. That's the framework. That's who you are. Broadly speaking, I mean, we got our John Browns, we got our Charles Sumners, we got our Thaddeus Stevens of the world, you know, we got our Tim Wises of the world. I mean, history is a general framework. But if you think, oh, I'm not one of them, yes, you are, because you're not doing anything. You're allowing it to be done. Your voice is not out there. Yes, you're one of them. Because what a man can tolerate, he will never change. And if you can tolerate blatant racism, we are upset that the colonizers of Africa won't leave. And because they won't leave, the Africans are attacking them. Africa is getting to the point that they're like, you know what? We're just not going to do this no more. And then you got Elon Musk in this country. One, he's a billionaire. Does he need to sell Teslas over there? Really? But we are going to give him internet and TV time. Meaning our time to watch it. He can go on there for free. For him to say, they won't, because I'm not black, they won't let me. It's like, you all won't, there is cognitive dissonance is the subset of the effects of slavery on white people. White people have for so long justified and ignored what they've done that they don't have the capacity to say, this is what the history is. This reaction makes sense. Native Americans should hate us, or be very leery of us at the very least. Black folks should. Mexicans should. Asians should. Chinese people in particular, Japanese people in particular. For what we have historically and systematically done, not just on this continent, but on the African continent. We should not be trusted because, especially with black folks, in every portion, antebellum, Civil War, Reconstruction, civil rights, war on drugs, mass incarceration, we have extracted their labor and excluded them from access to wealth. Why would they not be mistrustful for us? And we've always done it based on race. And right now, this is the most blatant. We're going to bring some white African immigrants to the United States when we're doing a push to get out Latino immigrants. And I don't have a problem with the powerful few. I'm never going to meet them. I have a problem with the millions of Americans that support them. Because I am going to meet them. I work with them. I have their kids in my university classes. And that's who we are. And I know as a historian, that's who we have always been. But when I say that's who you will always be, there has been no genetic mutation to make people in America change who they are. Nothing is going to suddenly change that mindset of slavery. Nothing's going to suddenly make that mindset of Jim Crow change, of war on drugs change. But then you have this pull yourself up by your own bootstraps ideology. But then that's not fair. We're talking about fair. We're talking about a black continent. Putting black first in our, because MAGA's in charge right now, is America first. We're kicking people out of the country because America is supposed to be first. We are changing the U.S. history requirements because America is supposed to be first, and we don't want Americans to feel bad. We're doing all of this crime because Americans, with the new crime bill under Trump, because Americans don't feel safe. It's supposed to be America first, but it's not supposed to be Africa first in Africa. Okay. And all of my white brothers and sisters, I'm not saying that you have to have a change of heart or that you have to do anything. What I'm saying is stop acting shocked when I tell you this is who you are. That's all I'm saying. Just keep the energy. Stop acting, oh, it's not me. Yes, it's you. If you're not saying anything, if you're not doing anything, all of my Jewish brothers and sisters, I don't want to hear it. You're fighting for your land over there in the middle of all the Arab countries. But when the Africans are doing it, are we getting any support from y'all? But y'all was quick to shut down Harvard. Y'all quick to shut down any university where the people are speaking out. So if it's genocide or not, we rocking with Israel. But when the continent of Africa is empowering itself, we're going to try to shame it? This country? Man, please. Leave me a comment if I'm wrong. And again, I'm going to leave. MAGA, help me out. I'd love to have you on the show. But this is so hard for me to process. Not that I don't believe it, but so many white Americans act like they don't see it. Why are we talking about only the descendants of colonizers on the African continent? Why are we, that's who we're worried about. Of all of the struggle that's going on that continent, now we're talking about them. Okay. Please, join the channel. It's free. Like, but leave a comment. Help me understand this. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock, class in session.